And perhaps it is the greatest grief after all to be left alone in this world while the other is gone. So I was reading this book called The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller again, and that is when I stumbled across this quote from the book, which made me question many different things, all related to the sheer concept of life in general, like why is death necessary? How does it affect us? Why can't we live forever? And why do we live just to die in the end? I thought about it for a while, and then I realized that there would be no meaning to life without an end, without death. Death is what gives life its meaning. Without death, life would be an endless cycle of perpetual pain and misery. There would be no end to that. It is the sheer concept of end that makes us want to enjoy the time we have left. To make something out of it, it gives a sense of value to the time that we had been given. Like in your childhood, when you go outside to play with your friends, when you have to be back by 5 because your parents told you, that time becomes your end for the day. So when you go out, you play as much as you can. You try to have as much fun as you can have. You don't pay attention to other details. You don't care about anything else. All you care about is enjoying the time you have. And by the time when the clock is 5, the end has came. You then go home and think about how much fun you had today, how much you played, and now you are tired, so you rest. But if I were to tell you that there would be no end, that there was no limit of playing, you would be excited at first. You would go outside to play, knowing there would be no end. You would enjoy as much as you want. You play as much as you like. But eventually, you will get tired of it. You don't have the same excitement as you had before. After a while, it gets to a point where you don't want to play anymore. Everything seems dull and meaningless. The playtime that you adored so much before now lost all its value. You want to break out of it now. You want to end it. The same concept can be applied to the cycle of life itself. Without an end, we will get tired of living. We would lose the very value of life that we cherish so much. As Sharon B. Noland once said, life is the art of dying. The everyday experience of life we had from a birth, the memories we made, and the choices we had. That is the art. So to answer my question from previously, I would say yes, death is necessary phenomena, and to live a life without an end would be an exhausting journey of no value. But I still don't have the answer to my second question, which was my initial thought when I read the quote. How does death affect us? I began to think about that for a while, which made me question the question itself. Maybe it doesn't affect us, but rather affect the one around us. I didn't have an answer to that, but at least I was certain that does affect either of them. So now the question began was, who does death affect the most? The one that is dying, or the one that is close to us? I think there could be no certain answer to that. As for the person who has to witness their close one dying, they had to experience the sense of loneliness, where the only thing left to clinch would be the memories of them that would bring only sorrows and grief to one, while the other rest in peace. But at the same time, the person dying would have a sudden sense of realization that their time had come to an end. Now there would be no more time to spend with their beloved. Everything that they had experienced and lived would all fade away soon. This would be the final goodbye they had to bid their beloved, after which the curtains of gloom would fall. And that would be devastating realization. Perhaps, we don't know. But from a personal opinion of mine, I would say that a person who is to witness their beloved dying would live in much greater grief, as they know how to carry on living without their beloved. They would feel lonely in this world. A sense of sorrow would come by every time they would think of them. Each memory of them would bring you grief and sense of relief at the same time. There would be nothing left on this world to do other than waiting for the end. A feeling of distress would begin in you when those memories you have of your beloved starts to fade away. You then cling onto them even harder so that they won't slip. But the more you held onto them, the more they slip away. And the grief of your death seemed less than of your partner's death. As Maya once said in a wonderful poem, that I can accept the idea of my own demise, but I am unable to accept the death of anyone else. I find it impossible to let a friend or relative go into the country of no return. Although there is no certain answer to whose grief would be greater, but we are certain that there is no forever. There is an end. And no matter how painful and scary it is, we have to face it and accept the fact, because everything